I'm almost thinking, how does a coyote cry, though? Anybody know how a coyote would cry? I'm telling you, I heard more since yesterday, and we do have a full moon today. Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Fun Astrology Podcast. It's the 11th of August. Thomas Miller here. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's run down the aspects today, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on all of this, because today is a busy day up over our heads. These times are all Eastern. 8:53 a.m., the sun squares Uranus. No, I'm not kidding. Hang on with me. Let's go through this list, then we'll come back and dissect, okay? 2:30 p.m., Venus moves from a water sign into a fire sign, enters Leo. At 5:44 p.m., Mars sextiles Neptune in retrograde. At 9:35 p.m., at 19 degrees 21 minutes, full moon in Aquarius. Just to round out that lunar path, at 7:05 in the morning, it goes void of course in Aquarius until 2:44 tomorrow afternoon when it moves into Pisces. Now, the other thing about this full moon, let's just camp there for a second because that is probably one of the bigger ones. Of course, the sun squaring Uranus on top of it is significant as well. But tonight, when the moon is full at 9:35, at least in Asheville, North Carolina, the sun will be in the 6th house. Of course, that puts the moon in the 12th house, and the moon is 2.5 degrees away from an exact conjunction with Saturn. It happens just a few hours past the full moon at 1:58 a.m. on Friday morning, Eastern Time. Y'all, with what's happened over the weekend when we had our trip going, the people who weren't able to make it, the other things that we learned while we were there, the very cookbook, Uranian. You want to prototype Uranus in your mind for the rest of your study of astrology? Just remember Monday. In fact, if you want to remember a yod in astrology, remember that yod from Monday. Mars and Uranus bearing down with quincunxes on Pluto and Neptune in sextiles with each other. Now, over the last 24 hours since we last talked, I have received emails from you guys. I've received some messages, some other messages, and the pattern continues. People talking about the losses that they incurred over the weekend. I'm not going to go into the woods, but like a boy was waiting by the train tracks to cross on his bicycle and didn't hear an oncoming train. A couple with a young baby arguing out in the street, and evidently weapons were involved. I mean, folks, I don't want to go into it, but I want you to grasp the magnitude of what everybody is going through. This is not isolated. It is not just you if you have experienced this. And now we come on here today, and what am I going to say? What are we going to talk about? I mean, Uranus direct squaring the sun opposite the moon, full moon, the moon sitting right next to Saturn in Aquarius, Venus moving from a decaffeinated water sign to a very caffeinated monster drink-infused fire sign, the full moon sitting right at a square to the nodes of the moon. I mean, we just keep going and going and going. In fact, if you've been on the funastrology.com website, as of when I'm recording this, it's still down. It got hit by malware, evidently in the last 24 to 48 hours. I'm doing what I can to fix it, but it's not an easy fix, and my time is limited. And that's a very key thing in my world. Then we have this Earth trine between Mars and Pluto, and today Mars exact sextiles that Neptune in the middle of it. You look at this and you think, wow, and then the eclipses come in a couple of months and there's more? I mean, we knew that this solar transit through Leo was going to fire squares back to Taurus. And then as Mars pulled into that decanate controlled by Saturn, so you see where the energetic activity is in the chart right now. Mars is very active in Taurus. It is co-ruled by Saturn. Saturn is sitting right next to this full moon. And then you have two of the planets that were in Donald Trump's yod, Pluto and Neptune, connected by Mars. That's 2 Earth and 1 water. What do we do with that? We've been talking about this week, but this is what I really think this chart is pointing us to, and that is that we have to shield, we have to protect ourselves, we have to bring in offsetting energy from inside of ourselves. We're not going to get it from the outside. We have to tap into what is already inside of us and create a shield, create a protection, and create an intention, as we really have been carrying the theme this week of choosing the higher timeline, if that is your choice. And quite honestly, I think this is a time also to be very authentic in your choice. In other words, if you found yourself sitting on a fence between two options, between two worlds, between two realities even, it would serve you well to get off the fence, pick one, and go with it. And it might not even be a low timeline, high timeline choice. It might be a high timeline, higher timeline choice. Ooh, that's where it gets tricky. I firmly believe this is a time to be picky. Be choosy. Stand for yourself and value yourself enough to pick your very highest timeline. In fact, pick a timeline that's higher than where you are and rise up to it. Then use that mantra that you can say every night when you go to bed. Say, when I am asleep, I will rest on my highest timeline. Then when you wake up in the morning, while you are still in that subconscious zone of programmability, say, today I live only on my highest timeline today. And then, as we talked about, guard yourself energetically. Remove yourself from anything, and I'm talking media, online forums, blogs, social media sites, discussions with others. And let me tell you where you can find some dark energy conversations. I don't like saying this, but sometimes astrological conversations are not high energy. Choose the ones that are. Now, because Saturn is involved, because Uranus is involved, let me throw one other little checkpoint in here, and that is don't focus on all this stuff. Okay, we've recounted where everything is. And then we offsetted it with, I think I spent as much time so far talking about the positive and the way to protect as we did talking about the other. But that's the point. Don't over-focus on all the stuff. Just do the work and do it effortlessly. Do it casually. Do it flowingly. Do it willingly. Just because. Weatherman says it might rain today. I think I'll take my raincoat or an umbrella. That's all. The point here is just don't get all up in it about the rain, because it may not rain where you are, but at least you've got your umbrella with you. Wow. Full Moon Thursday. Ow!